Before we talk about AMP, let us first talk about Anchor. Only, before we do that, let us talk about water. As god of the sea, water is, well, let's just say it's important. Specifically, today, let's start by talking about flavored water. Flavored water mystifies me. Is it water, a candy, or is it a mixed drink? And speaking of mysteries, in today's fresh episode, we take a look at an unusual bit of activity involving Anchor and, well, flavored water. Welcome to Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon, god of the sea, and in today's fresh episode, we're going to explore the possibilities of Anchor's far future by looking at a small signal hidden deep in the sea. That signal, well, it goes like this. Let's start with the beginning. As one does, I pined away the late hours of the night exploring the deep and meaningful relationship between public interest for Anchor and flavored water over many different time epochs. For example, a 7-day, 90-day, and even 1-year window. Calculating correlations over a series, a large stack of numbers, can be informative. Sometimes it can be quality informative, meaning just informative. To just look at two trend lines and identify if something unusual leaps out, consider the arrangement on the screen. These are slices of the charts, organized across the screen. What is it that caught my eye? On the screen, as indicated by an arrow, notice how the leaks and valley here tend to be clustered together, and then this. Let me move the arrow. Let's use this double peak and single peak example as shown with the arrow. That is interesting. Why would a trend for flavored water and Anchor both peak around the same time? We're about to begin a strange voyage, my friend. Now, you see this volatility churn here, following a run-up of both Anchor and flavored water? That too is very curious. At this point, someone might shrug and say, it's just noise. But not this channel. Some might even argue this channel is noise, but they'd be wrong. You see, this channel, it's just unusual. Convinced there's more going on here when I went searching, and you know what? I found something interesting, which led to new conjecture. And if the conjecture follows, then the conclusion, that's right, the moon. You see, on November 18th of 2021, Fujitsu entered into an agreement with Botanical Water Technologies to create something called a Botanical Water Exchange. And fun fact, the plan, according to this press release shown on the screen, is for this exchange to launch in or after April of 2022. What the heck even is this? Let's put up a visual and I'll explain by way of divination. That means I'll just read this small blurb from the press release. The new Botanical Water Exchange platform will deliver unprecedented supply chain traceability using blockchain technology. Juice concentration facilities, sugar mills, and alcohol distilleries equipped with Botanical Water Technologies equipment will be able to purify water that would otherwise be discarded during the production process. Manufacturers can sell this water to other food and beverage manufacturers on the Botanical Water Exchange platform, or put it into circular use at their own facility. Companies that want to use botanical water in their factories can purchase it via the Botanical Water Exchange platform from the nearest botanical water refinery. In this way, companies can lower transportation costs, reduce the environmental footprint of their operations, and ultimately contribute to the achievement of both carbon and water neutrality targets by purchasing, quote, water credits, end quote, that can be redeemed on the BWX platform, that's Botanical Water Exchange platform. Companies can also donate the same amount of water consumed at their facilities in order to reduce their environmental impact to zero as part of their water positive ESG and corporate compliance programs. For example, companies that use a large amount of water for their business can offset this water usage through the purchase of water credits, which allow them to provide clean drinking water to water-scarce communities and run charity activities through the Botanical Water Foundation, a not-for-profit organization, end quote. What's interesting about this is that if you then search for Fujitsu and Anchor, well, you see the search results that's on the screen. And these, well, they're pretty interesting. But this top result mentions something that caught my eye. Quote, Fujitsu has announced their intention to utilize blockchain technology within their retail markets, tourist sites, and shopping centers. With the new service, customers will be able to manage and collect digital stamps by scanning QR codes in designated areas within stores in order to redeem benefits and coupons, end quote. Wait a minute, scanning QR codes for doing purchases and other benefits? I've heard of this before. You know where? Chief Dude at Flexit Network, who otherwise goes by Tyler Spalding. Someone may say, this is a bold claim, Poseidon. You're saying there's a link between AMP Token, Flexit Network, and Fujitsu? Yes, and it's through an intermediary known as GK Software. As shown on the screen, the Redditor Guitar and Cookies shares with us the key missing link that we need to tie everything together. Quote, also working, sharing their US partners. gksoftware.com/US/company/partners includes some big names: IBM, Microsoft, Motorola, NCR, Honeywell, Fujitsu, Epson, Toshiba, Verifone Azure, and many more. Flexa is building connections to the industry giants very quickly. End quote. So we just linked Flexa Network's AMP token to GK Software. That bridges us over to work on the blockchain that Fujitsu is doing, all from flavored water, which means, well, for starters, tap that thumbs up button. Need a suggestion for a comment of the day to leave below? How about, quote, I'll have what he's drinking, end quote. And just note that it might not be flavored water. Okay, all of this does mean there's one more thing. To talk about it, we need to return to the beginning and discuss ANKR. And if you're just new, that's ANKR, or Anchor. I mentioned longer term vision for ANKR, but let me just apply that to what Fujitsu is doing with water and other staples like rice. ANKR is providing ease of access to blockchain technologies. And if you've been creating audiobooks of their website, then you'd have noticed the stealth expansion of their institutional and enterprise offering. Imagine a world where developers can build apps and insights on blockchain data to further optimize and increase the net value of commodity markets, such as botanical water. Using ANKR to access APIs that simultaneously allow a developer to pull information about water usage from one chain and also, say, another chain and your favorite altcoin. For those who are into a greener future, you should perhaps start drawing some boxes. It's quite intriguing. Will ANKR one day provide RPC access to these specific niche corporate interests under some institutional or enterprise scheme? Or is it more likely case that they already are and just can't talk about it? Well, the future, it's inherently filled with uncertainty and chaos. But I do know this. This is Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon. In today's fresh episode, I linked flavored water to ANKR, and then, from there, AMP and Fujitsu. I never did answer that question if flavored water is a mixed drink or not. Such mysteries yet await. Maybe I'll toss a poll up about that once the results and whether Poseidon should open an online collectible store settles in. I'll be talking about that poll and specifics related to the channel this upcoming Thursday. I saw the request for roadmap on where this channel is going, but if it wasn't clear, I'd like to take this channel and all of my fam here, well, to the moon. Make waves, my friend.